that this is absolutely possible. Let's follow Alex, a 19-year-old young man working part-time at a convenience store, whose simple act of kindness leads him on an unexpected journey. Alex is not a hero, nor is he someone extraordinary. He is just an ordinary young man living in a small town, working to help his family. He always carries a warm and sincere heart, despite the challenges life throws at him. That day, just like any other, Alex was doing his usual task, stocking shelves in the store. It was a warm afternoon, with soft sunlight streaming through the windows, but in Alex's heart, there was a gentle, happy feeling, knowing he was doing something helpful for his family. But then, something unexpected happened. While standing near the store, Alex's eyes wandered out to the parking lot. He noticed a man struggling with heavy shopping bags, his tired eyes showing exhaustion. Alex stood there for a moment, and without thinking much, he immediately left his work behind and went outside. "Let me help you, sir," Alex said, with a gentle smile on his face. He bent down and quickly arranged the bags into the man's car. At that moment, everything around him seemed to freeze. It was just the act of kindness and the grateful gaze of the man. After a moment of hesitation, the man smiled and reached out a hand in thanks. "Thank you, son," he said, his voice rough but full of appreciation, pulling a bill from his wallet and offering it to Alex. Alex was surprised but gently shook his head. "No need, sir. I'm just happy to help." The warmth Alex felt in his heart was undeniable. He turned back toward the store, but the joy and satisfaction from that simple act of kindness lit up his mood. Little did he know, that small gesture, with no expectation of anything in return, could change someone's day. He also didn't realize that the man, with his deep gaze, had been watching him and would soon bring an unexpected opportunity into his life. The next day, as the first rays of morning light filtered through the window and woke up the small town, Alex woke with a sense of calm. He didn't think much about his act of kindness the day before, just feeling happy that he did something good. Life went on as usual, with work at the convenience store, familiar customers, and the store's bell ringing regularly. As Alex was starting his shift, something unexpected happened. His manager, Sarah, stood by the office door, her eyes sternly looking at him. Alex couldn't help but feel uneasy, as if something was wrong. Although he was used to Sarah's gaze, there was something in her eyes this time that made him feel uncomfortable. "Alex, I need to talk to you," she said, her voice cold, as if there was no room for compassion. Alex felt the difference in Sarah's tone, but he remained calm and followed her into the office. A feeling of unease rose within him, like a strange wave surging in his chest. He didn't know what would happen next, but he was certain it wasn't going to be anything good. "Alex, I saw what you did yesterday," Sarah began, her eyes cold, arms crossed in front of her chest. "You left your post without permission." Alex couldn't understand why his act of kindness had become a problem. He tried to explain, his voice unsure. "I just wanted to help someone, Sarah. He was struggling and I thought—" But Sarah didn't give him a chance to explain. "Rules are rules, Alex. We can't have employees abandoning their responsibilities no matter the reason. I'm sorry, but I have to let you go." Her words hit Alex like a heavy blow to the chest. He felt as if everything had collapsed in front of him. His eyes widened in disbelief, unable to process what he had just heard. "You're firing me for helping someone?" he asked, his voice trembling, struggling to grasp the reality of the situation. Sarah stared at him for a long moment, but there was no change in her demeanor. "This is final," she said coldly, with no sign of remorse. Holding the small box with his personal belongings, Alex walked out of the office, his heart heavy. Each step felt as if the weight of the world was pressing down on him. He couldn't understand what had just happened. Why was he being punished so severely for such a small act? He walked out of the store, not daring to look back at his co-workers still working, although he could sense their sympathetic gazes following him. In the stillness, Alex could only focus on moving forward, trying to maintain his dignity, but the emotions swirling within him were impossible to ignore. Just as he stepped outside, a familiar voice called out from behind him. "That's so unfair." It was Lisa, a close colleague. She walked up to him, placing a hand on his shoulder, her eyes full of anger and disbelief. "You didn't deserve this, Alex. You were just trying to do the right thing." Alex gave her a weak smile, feeling a slight relief in his heart. "Thanks, Lisa. But it's okay. I'll figure something out," he said, trying to remain positive. But deep down, Alex couldn't shake the overwhelming sense of disappointment. He stepped outside, the space around him now feeling empty and unfamiliar. Each step he took felt heavier than the last, but Alex kept his head held high, not wanting anyone to see his vulnerability. He knew that no matter how harsh life was, he wouldn't give up. He still believed that one day, something good would come his way. The next day, as Alex sat in his room, the turmoil of emotions continued to swirl within him. He couldn't stop thinking about the future, an uncertain future, not knowing what to do, where to go. While he was lost in his thoughts, a sudden ring of the doorbell interrupted his train of thought. Alex jumped, not expecting anyone to visit at this time. His heart raced as he glanced out the window, noticing a sleek luxury car parked outside. He couldn't understand why such a car would appear in his neighborhood, or who could be visiting him. His heart pounded harder as he saw a man in a black suit, his face cold yet full of authority, standing outside the door, arms crossed. "Are you Alex Walker?" the man asked, his voice deep and stern, his gaze sweeping over Alex as though assessing every move he made. A chill ran down Alex's spine. He had no idea who this man was or how he knew his name. Anxiety started to rise, but Alex tried to stay calm and nodded. "Yeah, that's me. Who are you?" The man didn't answer immediately, just stared at him intently, as though assessing every expression on Alex's face. "You need to come with me," he said after a long pause, his voice calm yet firm. Alex didn't have time to react to this sudden demand. He felt an overwhelming sense of unease, but the man's gaze was powerful, leaving no room for refusal. Even though his mind was filled with questions, Alex felt as though he had no choice but to follow. "Why? What's going on?" Alex asked, his voice shaky, but the man only shook his head and didn't answer his question. "Come with me," the man said again, and Alex felt a strong pull, urging him to follow. His heart raced, anxiety and curiosity intertwined, but deep inside, he had a strange feeling. Maybe this was the moment when he couldn't turn back. As Alex stepped into the luxury car, the door closed smoothly behind him, and the lock clicked shut with certainty. The car began to move, but the silence inside made everything feel even more tense. The driver didn't say a word, and the man sitting beside Alex remained silent, only staring ahead, as if everything had been preordained. The anxiety enveloped Alex, and he couldn't stop thinking about what was happening. Where are we going? What's waiting for me? Why me? These questions kept repeating in his mind, causing his heart to race even faster. But in the stillness of the car, the only answer was silence. Time seemed to stop as the car turned onto a deserted road, and the surroundings around Alex changed completely. From familiar streets, only empty houses and desolate land remained. In the darkness of the night, Alex's unease grew stronger. Each passing minute felt like a waiting game with no explanation. Finally, the car stopped at a deserted harbor, where a large boat was docked close to the shore. The moonlight reflected off the calm water, shimmering weakly under the dim light of the night. Alex's heart beat faster. He felt an unusual tension but couldn't help feeling curious about what was to come. The man in the black suit ordered, "Get out!" With no other choice, Alex stepped out of the car and followed the man toward the boat. His footsteps were heavy but determined, not knowing what kind of strange journey he was about to embark on. As Alex boarded the boat, a strange feeling washed over him. Although there was some fear, He couldn't ignore the sense that he had started down a road from which there would be no turning back, a journey full of mystery waiting ahead. Alex stepped off the boat, each footstep echoing sharply on the quiet dock. Everything around him felt unfamiliar and strange. Standing before a large house, with dim light spilling out from the windows, he felt a cold air surrounding him, as if this place were a world apart from his own. The doors opened, and a strong feeling surged through him, as though everything had been destined. Alex couldn't understand where he was, but there was no denying that something deep within urged him forward, as if this journey was something he couldn't avoid. Looking at the man in the black suit, Alex felt the tension in his chest grow. Who was this man? Why had he been brought here? He still had no answers, only silence surrounding him, like an invisible wall pressing down on his heart. Fear rose within him, but at the same time, a strange, powerful curiosity pushed him to keep moving forward. As they approached the door, a voice called out from the shadows, "Alex!" His body froze when he heard his name. He never imagined he would hear that voice here, in this place. Alex turned, and in the dim light, he saw a figure standing there, the man he had helped the day before. But this wasn't the same man Alex had imagined. This was a different Elon Musk, someone Alex couldn't quite recognize in that moment. "Alex!" Elon called again, this time his voice warm, as if he had been waiting for this moment for a long time. "I see you've made it." Alex's heart pounded. He couldn't believe his eyes. It was Elon Musk, the man he had helped with such a small gesture, never imagining that this person could be anyone other than a stranger. And now, he was standing before him, one of the most powerful men in the world. A wave of intense emotion surged within Alex. He didn't know how to react. His mind couldn't keep up with his emotions. I don't understand," he said, his voice trembling, almost unable to control it. "Why me? I was just helping you." Elon looked at him, not rushing to answer, but instead offering a gentle smile, as if he had known this question would come. "Exactly. That's why I chose you," Elon said, his eyes deep, as if reading Alex's thoughts. "You did something good, not for reward, but because it was the right thing to do. That's rare, Alex. That's what I need." These words struck Alex's mind like a bolt of lightning. He couldn't fully grasp what Elon was saying, but each word felt like a spark igniting something within him. A spark he had never recognized before. All his life, Alex had acted on instinct, doing what was right in his eyes, but never imagining that such a small act could lead to something so big. "Why me?" Alex repeated the question once more, this time not with worry, but with confusion, a deep desire to understand what was happening. "I'm just an ordinary guy." Elon stepped closer, his expression serious, yet full of trust. "Exactly. And that's why you're the one," he said. "Ordinary people can do extraordinary things when they act with integrity, without expecting anything in return. You've passed the first test, Alex. And now, it's time for you to become part of something bigger." These words from Elon were a shock, and Alex felt an overwhelming sensation rise in his chest. He couldn't turn down this opportunity, even though he didn't understand exactly where it would lead. But in that moment, he realized that this was the only chance of a lifetime, a chance to change not just his life, but the world. Elon pointed to the screen in front of them, where a world map was displayed, full of complex numbers and data. "This is the world I'm building, Alex," he said, his voice serious. "And you're going to be part of it." Alex's heart raced, the question still swirling in his mind, but curiosity, excitement, and a newfound belief flooded his chest. He no longer felt fear. Instead, a new fire of passion began to burn within him. He knew that this was the moment to step into a journey that nothing could stop. Alex stood there, confused but undeniably feeling something strange rising within him. He felt like he had just stepped into a world he had never dared to imagine before. Everything was happening so fast, so unexpectedly, and now he realized that even the smallest choices could open doors he never dreamed of. He still didn't fully understand what was happening, but one strong feeling was rising in his chest. This was the biggest opportunity of his life. Elon stood there, his eyes lighting up as he looked at Alex, as if he had been waiting for this moment for a long time. Alex, Elon continued, his voice gentle but powerful. I know you don't understand everything right now, but it will all become clear when you step into this work. You did the right thing from the beginning, and I need people like you. People who never stop believing in what's right, even when everything around them may oppose it. Alex was silent, eyes fixed on Elon, then back to the world map glowing before them. Every figure, every piece of data swept by like a vast ocean, all filled with infinite potential. He couldn't help but feel overwhelmed. Just a short time ago, he was working part-time at the convenience store, and now here he was, facing an opportunity that could change not just his life, but the world. But I'm just an ordinary guy, Alex muttered to himself. I've never done anything big. Elon smiled and stepped closer. That's exactly what I want, Alex. Ordinary people with big hearts, willing to do the right thing without thinking about the reward. People like that can change the world. And I see that in you. A strange feeling surged within Alex. It was as if everything around him suddenly lit up, revealing a hidden world he had never known. He didn't know what he would have to do, or where he would go, but he knew this was his choice. An opportunity he couldn't miss. He may not fully understand what was coming, but one thing was clear. As long as he was ready, everything would slowly begin to make sense. So, what do I need to do? Alex asked, his voice now full of determination, though still tinged with a bit of uncertainty. Elon moved closer to the large screen, his eyes never leaving Alex. You'll start by learning the necessary skills, understanding how this world operates. What I'm doing isn't just about creating technology, but building a future where humanity can live better, happier, and more fairly. You can be a part of that, Alex. Elon's gaze was not only full of resolve, but also shining with trust in Alex. Alex's heart beat faster. This wasn't just an invitation. This was an invitation to join a revolution, an ambitious project that could change not just an individual's life, but the entire world. Alex felt his head spinning. But the more he thought, the more he realized that this was no accident. He was being given the opportunity not only to change his life, but to change the lives of millions. The fear started to fade, replaced by a powerful belief. If Alex didn't accept this challenge, he would regret it for the rest of his life. Let's do it, Alex said, his voice more steady than ever. I'm ready. Elon smiled, his eyes filled with satisfaction. Good, Alex. This is just the beginning, and I believe you'll do great things. That day, as Alex walked out of the room, a strong feeling surged through him. He didn't know exactly what he would do next, but he knew from that moment on, his life would never be the same. The light from the screen bathed Alex's face, as if the world was opening a new path, one he had never dared to dream of. Elon stood beside him, his eyes filled with trust. From today, your life will never be the same again. This is your chance to do something great, Elon said, his voice calm but full of power. You've made a great start, but this is only the first step. Alex looked at him, emotions flooding his heart. He wasn't a hero, nor was he someone with extraordinary talents. He was just an ordinary young man working at a convenience store to help his family. But now, he realized that it was his sincerity, his kindness, and his belief in doing what was right that had brought him here. Sometimes, the smallest actions can change everything. He felt a surge of new energy within him. Opportunities he had never dared to think of were now right in front of him. But he also understood that with this opportunity, many challenges lay ahead. But Alex wasn't afraid. He wasn't scared of the obstacles that would come, because now he had trust in himself, in his abilities, and in what he could contribute to the world. Looking ahead, Alex felt a powerful sense of hope and belief. All he had to do now was keep moving forward, step by step, down this newly opened path. Things wouldn't be easy, but he would never give up. He had the chance to change his life, and more than that, to change the world. And so, Alex's journey began. No more doubts or fears, only perseverance, determination, and an open heart, ready to face whatever challenges came his way. Alex's story is proof that sometimes the smallest acts can open up huge opportunities. Acts of kindness and sincerity not only help others, but they can also transform our own lives. The biggest lesson from this story is, sometimes doing the right thing without expecting anything in return can open doors you never imagined. No one is useless. As long as you have faith, an open heart, and a willingness to help others, you can create change, not just for yourself, but for the entire world. There are no limits to what you can achieve, as long as you dare to believe and step forward. And that's Alex's inspiring journey. An ordinary young man, but with a small act of kindness, he opened a whole new world of unexpected opportunities. This story is a reminder to all of us that sometimes the smallest acts can lead to the biggest changes. If this story inspired you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel so we can continue sharing more meaningful stories. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.